Picture this. You're sitting in a ridiculously uncomfortable, cheap leather chair inside a glass cubicle at your local car dealership. You've got a lukewarm cup of bad coffee in one hand. Across from you is a guy named Todd who keeps leaving to talk to his manager. You came in because your old car has a weird rattle, and honestly, you just got a promotion at work. You feel like you deserve an upgrade? So Todd comes back, slides a piece of paper across the desk, taps his pen on it, and asks you the single most dangerous question in all of personal finance. So, what do you want your monthly payment to be? You say, I'd like to keep it around $600. Todd smiles, goes back to his manager, and magically comes back with a payment of exactly $599 a month. You feel like a master negotiator? You sign the paperwork, you grab the keys, and you drive that shiny new SUV off the lot, blasting music, feeling like you have completely made it in life. But here's the thing. You didn't outsmart Todd. You just signed a 72-month loan at 8.5% interest. You didn't just buy a car. You just traded a massive chunk of your future wealth just to look a little bit richer in traffic for the next 6 years. Look, my name is Johnny, and I spend way too much time thinking about how the car industry is secretly keeping the middle class broke. If you're someone who feels like you make decent money but you always have nothing left over at the end of the month, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. We need to have a serious talk about what is happening in this country right now. We are living through an absolute auto debt crisis, and society has completely normalized it. I want to challenge a massive financial assumption right up front. A car is not an investment. I don't care what your uncle says, and I don't care how well a Toyota Tacoma holds its value. A car is an expense. It is a depreciating piece of heavy machinery. Yet people are financing cars as if they are buying real estate. Let's look at the actual numbers. According to recent data from Edmunds, the average monthly payment for a new car in the US has crossed $730. For used cars, it's sitting right around $530. And worse, the average loan term is now nearly 69 months. People are literally taking out 6- and 7-year loans to buy things that are actively dying in their driveway. So, how do people who are actually wealthy, not the ones faking it on Instagram with leased luxury cars, but the actual millionaires next door by their vehicles? They don't walk into a dealership and ask about the monthly payment. They use a very specific, ruthless mathematical framework. It's called the 24-10 rule. And if you start applying this to your life today, it will completely change your financial trajectory. Let's break it down. The 20 stands for a 20% down payment. If you want to buy a car, you must put at least 20% down in cash. No exceptions. No zero down specials. No sign and drive events. Now, you might be thinking, Johnny, why would I hand over thousands of dollars in cash when the dealership is literally offering to let me drive away for $0 down? I can just keep my cash invested. Here's what most people don't realize about the auto market. The depreciation curve on vehicles is incredibly vicious. A brand new car loses roughly 10% to 15% of its value the exact second its tires hit the public road. It loses about 20% to 25% of its value within the first year. Let's use a real dollar example so you can see the math. Let's say you buy a $40,000 car with $0 down. You roll the taxes, title, and dealer fees into the loan. So your actual loan balance is around $43,500. Within 12 months, that car is now worth maybe $32,000 on the open market. But because you didn't put any money down and your early payments are mostly going toward interest, your loan balance is still sitting at around $40,000. You are now $8,000 underwater on your loan. You owe the bank $8,000 more than the asset is worth. This is terrifying because if somebody runs a red light tomorrow and totals your car, the insurance company isn't going to write you a check for what you owe the bank. They're going to write you a check for $32,000, the actual cash value of the car. You will legally owe a bank $8,000 for a pile of twisted metal that is sitting in a junkyard. Putting 20% down acts as a financial shock absorber. It ensures that you are never upside down on the loan. It protects you from negative equity and keeps the bank from holding your financial life hostage. Honestly, if you cannot afford to put 20% down, it means you cannot afford the car, period. All right, moving on to the 4. This stands for 4 years or a 48-month loan term. This is the absolute maximum length of time you should ever finance a vehicle. This is the part of the rule that makes people the most frustrated when I talk about it. Car dealerships have done a brilliant psychological job of brainwashing us into focusing entirely on the monthly payment. If a $40,000 car costs you $900 a month on a 4-year loan, Todd the salesman is going to say, hey, look, I can stretch this out to 84 months and get your payment down to $550. And our primitive brains go, wow, $550 is way less than $900. I'm saving money. No, you are not saving money. You are getting fleeced. Let's look at the math. Let's assume you finance $30,000 at an 8% interest rate. If you finance it over 48 months, 4 years, your monthly payment is $732. Over the life of the loan, you will pay $5,150 in interest. If you stretch it to 84 months, 7 years, to lower your payment, your monthly payment drops to $468. But over the life of the loan, you will pay $9,300 in interest. You just paid the bank an extra $4,150 for the exact same hunk of metal, just to feel a little more comfortable month to month. But this is where it gets really interesting. And honestly, a little dark. When you take out a 72 or 84-month loan, you are violating the mechanical life cycle of the car itself. By year 5 or 6, the car is out of its bumper-to-bumper warranty. It's going to need major maintenance. You need new tires, new brakes, a water pump, a timing belt. So now, you are making a $500 monthly payment to the bank, and you are cash flowing $1,000 repair bills at the mechanic. This creates a psychological breaking point. People get so angry paying for repairs on a car they still owe money on that they go trade it in because they are upside down on that 7-year loan. The dealer just takes the negative equity and rolls it into the next 7-year loan. I literally know people who are making $1,200 monthly payments on a Nissan Altima because they've rolled 3 consecutive bad car loans into one massive snowball of debt. Keep it to 48 months. If the 48-month payment breaks your budget, the car is too expensive for you. This brings us to the final and undoubtedly the most difficult part of the formula, the 10. Your total monthly vehicle expenses should not exceed 10% of your gross monthly income. Notice I said total vehicle expenses. I did not just say the car payment. I'm talking about the car payment, the insurance premium, the gas, and a little bit set aside for maintenance. All of that combined needs to fit inside 10% of your gross pre-tax income. Let's do the math on a realistic scenario. Let's say you make a very solid salary of $72,000 a year. That is $6,000 a month in gross income. 10% of $6,000 is $600. You have $600 a month to spend on everything vehicle related. Let's say car insurance costs you $150 a month, gas costs you $150 a month, and you set aside $50 a month for oil changes and tires. That's $350 right there. That leaves you with exactly $250 a month for a car payment. Now, you might be thinking, Johnny, you are out of your mind. What kind of car can I buy with a $250 a month payment on a 4-year loan? Well, assuming you put 20% down and get a decent interest rate, a $250 a month payment gets you a car worth roughly $12,000 to $14,000. And right there is the harsh truth that nobody wants to hear. If you make $72,000 a year, you have absolutely no business driving a $45,000 car. You should be driving a 2013 Honda Civic or a 2014 Toyota Camry. I can literally feel you getting mad at me through the screen right now. The psychology of this is fascinating. In our society, we tie our self-worth to the badge on our steering wheel. We use cars for status signaling. We want our coworkers and our neighbors to think we are crushing it. It's the hedonic treadmill you buy the luxury car. It feels amazing for exactly 3 weeks, and then it just becomes the metal box you drive to work in. But you are stuck paying a premium for that ego boost for half a decade. Buying an expensive car when you don't have a high net worth is like buying a giant $50,000 leather couch, putting it outside in the rain to rot, paying taxes on it every year, and paying a premium to insure it. It makes absolutely zero financial sense. This brings me to the absolute most important point of this entire video. Here's what most people don't realize. The true cost of a car isn't the sticker price. The true cost is what your money could have become if you hadn't given it to the dealership. This is called opportunity cost, and it is the silent wealth killer making you poor. Let's imagine 2 guys, Mike and Dave. They are both 25 years old, and they both make the same salary. Mike wants to look rich. He goes out and finances a brand new truck. He pays that average American car payment of $730 a month. Every time he pays off a truck, he immediately trades it in for a new one, keeping that $730 payment going perpetually until he is 60 years old. Dave follows the 24-10 rule. He buys a reliable, used Corolla in cash because he didn't overextend himself. His transportation costs are insanely low. Dave has an extra $500 a month in his budget compared to Mike. Instead of putting that $500 into a depreciating asset, Dave invested it into a low-cost S&P 500 index fund, which historically returns about 8% to 10% per year. After 35 years, when they are both 60, Mike has a shiny truck sitting in his driveway that is worth maybe $30,000. Dave from that $500 a month alone has an investment
Seriously?
portfolio worth $1.1 million. Mike literally sacrificed $1 million in generational wealth so he could have a panoramic sunroof and heated leather seats in his 20s. That is the devastating reality of the modern car loan. So, what do you actually do with this information today? Here are your clear, actionable steps. Step 1. Run your numbers right now. Take your gross annual salary, divide it by 12, and multiply it by 10%, 0.10. That is your absolute ceiling for your monthly car payment, gas, and insurance combined. Write that number down on a sticky note. Step 2. Evaluate your current situation. If you are currently violating this rule, if your car is eating up 20% or 25% of your take-home pay, you need to have a tough conversation with yourself. You might need to sell the car, pay off the difference, and buy a beater in cash. Yes, it hurts your pride. Yes, your friends might ask, why you downgraded? But it will literally save your financial future. Step 3. The pay yourself method. If you currently have a paid-off car, do not go buy a new one. Instead, take what you would pay for a new car, let's say $400 a month, and set up an automatic transfer into a high-yield savings account labeled New Car Fund. By the time your current car finally dies in 5 years, you will have $24,000 in cold, hard cash to buy your next car outright. No banks, no interest, no stress. Look, the automobile industry spends billions of dollars on marketing every single year to convince you that your worth as a human being is tied to the age and brand of your vehicle. They want you trapped in a cycle of endless monthly payments because that is exactly how they get insanely rich. You have to decide today if you want to look wealthy to people you don't even like at stoplights, or if you actually want to be wealthy when it counts. Stop renting your ego. Use the 20-4-10 rule. Protect your income and invest the difference. If you've got value out of this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments down below what your dream sensible car is. Keep building wealth, and I'll see you in the next one.